Hey, what's going on, everybody? McManhattan from the Scene Snobs here, and this episode is brought to you by Skillshare, a proud new sponsor of ours that we really very happy to be affiliated with. So, Skillshare, if you don't know what it is a platform that you can go onto, and it teaches you tons of different skills through video work and things like that. I've used it before for to learn more about graphic design, learn more about editing, putting things together. It really has helped me build the Scene Snobs, do more website work, things like that, SEO work, marketing. It's just been a great source and resource. And I'm a big proponent for researching and learning and always keep going, because you're never adapting or you're never improving in any way if you don't do those things and you keep up with it. So I've used Skillshare quite a bit, and we're so happy to be partnered with them. That's why we did. But Skillshare, from their words, Skillshare teachers are icons, experts, and industry rock stars excited to share their experience, wisdom, and trusted tools with you. It offers more than 41,000 plus courses, or classes as they say, and 8 million users. It's one of the most popular online learning platforms out there and focuses on classes for creative professionals and entrepreneurs. It's focused on creative workers, designers, chefs, artists, entrepreneurs, and especially for SEO marketing work, like I had mentioned, or freelancers and small businesses. They're ones that will especially enjoy Skillshare the most, because it will help them build their resources and put piece of things together. It's a platform for personal growth. Some of its classes are short and sweet, around 10 minutes. Whereas some are run for longer hours and can even have up to like 50 short videos. All its classes have assignments and encourage its learners to share their projects and learning along the way. And it encourages engagement with the Skillshare community. It is great because if you have somebody, you may be able to help somebody with what you're doing if you're a little more advanced after taking the courses and such, or you can go to somebody who's been doing it and working with it and be able to build up your own skills and talk to somebody who's just like you. So if you're interested in Skillshare, please head down to the affiliate link, check them out, and if you do sign up, let us know what you think. We'd love to hear from you. All right, guys, let's get to the review of They Them, Peacock's new original movie that is streaming now. I checked this out last night. So as you know, it's sort of on a tear this weekend. There's been like 5 reviews, and it's been nice because I've been able to do 2 with my sons because we watched them together. Excuse me. So we watched a couple of them together, animated films, and a couple of them are horrors, this one being as well, and I've enjoyed that. Lots of stuff came out this weekend. It seemed like last weekend was sort of a slow weekend. But there's plenty of other reviews out. But I checked this out last night. I was in the mood for a horror movie. As you guys know, I'm doing my 95 days to Halloween horror movie countdown, and this was number 88 last night. And I have to say, before I get into it, I did post that I was watching this last night, and friends of mine from the LGBTQ community, were sort of torn, asking me about it, and I hadn't watched the whole thing yet, so I couldn't answer questions, and I was, taking my time before I was doing the review, really thinking about things and responses and such. But some seemed really upset that I was watching it, and I haven't gotten responses back yet. I'm hoping I will, to understand what is so upsetting. Now, having coming at this, I wanted to talk about this a little bit because I understand there's some controversy to it, and it happens a lot in movies and has been happening for years and years and years for many different communities, but just as much to the LGBTQ plus community. And as a straight white man who is coming in here, and I am just reviewing a movie. I want to touch on this as from a movie side, but I would be remiss if I didn't at least comment on friends of mine reaching out to me about this and voicing their opinions on me watching it. Now I realize that I have seen, and I have become aware of, especially over the years as I've become more receptive to listening rather than speaking. and learning, I realize how problematic the movie industry has been in the way it portrays and treats members of the LGBTQ community. And and when I go back and I rewatch some of these movies I never saw with that eye before, and I do give them a rewatch, even if friends have said don't watch those movies, don't support them. I do give them a rewatch because I think that I do need to rewatch it with those eyes and try and see what they know. What they are seeing, how they're being portrayed, and I want to open my eyes to that. So that's what I do when I, watch these movies, again after learning, and I get it. I do get it. I mean, so many times has that community been portrayed as the villain or as crazy or in lack of a better term or in terms that they used within these movies, because they identify in that way, or that's who they are, as I should say. And it's the way it's being portrayed in movies is it is pretty not pretty, it's just sad. It really is. And I go back and I look at that and I'm like, all right, I get it now. Watching with a fresh pair of eyes, with a more of an understanding, and after having learned something from and having empathy, which I think is the most important thing you can do, and compassion. But so watching movies from the past, I get it. And now as we push forward, I try to look for those things and see if there's any of that tone deaf, you know, portrayals in movies coming out. Now, when this movie, I saw the trailer for this movie, I did not get that feel from the trailer. And I knew I was going to check this out anyway, because like I said, I don't think I should be able, or anybody should be able to review or check out a movie if you're not going to watch it. If you are a movie reviewer, you should have no opinion, good or bad, if you have not seen the property. You can have no interest. That's completely fine. And you can say, I have no interest. I don't want to watch it. This is what I've heard about it. Fine. That's your opinion. But then I do not think, especially if you call yourself a movie reviewer, you should be able to have an opinion if you haven't seen it. You cannot just relegate or take on an opinion based on what you've been told, what you've read, what you've seen, what you've heard about it. You have to see it for yourself. So watching this and having it be a new movie, I saw the trailer and I didn't get that feel from the trailer. I wanted to watch this and see what was going on, what it was about, and what I've learned from it. So last night when I posted that I was watching the movie online on social media, a lot of people came back and either reached out to me or said something or commented or seemed kind of upset that I was watching it. And I don't know why, because I haven't gotten. Now I know a few of my friends from that community and in the trans community are just worried that it won't be respectful towards the community. And I will say this for the movie, I do feel like it is respectful towards the community. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's a well-told story. And I'm going to get into that because it could have been a really well-told story. It could have been two really well-told stories. And I'll get into that. And that's going to be from the filmmaking point of view. That's going to be from the story. Everything else has nothing to do with anybody outside of the realm of within the story. I just wanted to point that out and say, when I watch this movie, I was truly looking to see if it is respectful towards the community, because I feel like that should be mentioned if it's not, or if it is. And I do feel like it was. I felt like sometimes it was a tone deaf at times, but not meaning to be. I think just for the sake of trying to put in cliches, horror cliches, it kind of got to that point. But I don't think this was trying to be disrespectful in any way, shape, or form. And I do applaud them for using members of the community in the cast, and even the director, John Logan, is out. He's a gay man who has worked on plenty of great things. So it's awesome to see what he did here, and he put this together and wrote it, and he directed it. My only issue, now we're getting into the filmmaking side, and if you guys have any comments or anything, I will read them off at the end, so please feel free. Liz, thanks for joining in. I appreciate it. So from the other side of it, where I'm coming in as a filmmaker, and from trying to learn and trying to see things, I wanted to see way I wanted to see if it was respectful is if it teaches like somebody like me anything about members of the community, and it did. I picked up a lot and understanding, and I thought that was a cool thing. I thought it was cool that just to understand the community better, as a straight white male, I think that helps. And I think when we step in as movie lovers, when you have something like that in your movie and it's successful, and I feel like that really works. Now let's transition into talking about the movie from the filmmaking side. So going into that point, the movie is about Camp Whistler, which is a conversion camp where a group of teens, a whole bunch of teens, and in a weird way, it seems like they multiplied throughout the movie. Like it seemed like it was a small group, and then like just more people would show up out of. I'm like, and there were extras, and I'm like, I don't remember them in the initial, moment. I thought that was kind of funny, but they show up at this camp. They're there for a week, and immediately you are taken out of, you're kind of given a false sense of security because they got Kevin Bacon to play Owen Whistler, the one who runs the camp. It's been his family's camp for years and years. And, he runs it with his wife and two former participants in the camp or campers, two former teenagers that had, been at the camp before, and a brand new nurse who's stepping in, played by Anna Chlumsky, who was in My Girl and, and plenty of other stuff. She was just most recently in Inventing Anna. So watching this, I was, getting into it, and they give you a false sense of security. He comes right out, and he seems like he's on the teen side. He's like, I'm not here to, he's like, I can't make you straight. It's not what this is about. But if, you do the program and you work with us and things like that, maybe you'll learn more about yourselves. But it's because it's Kevin Bacon and he's such a fine actor, and delivering this monologue, it does give you that false sense of security, like, things might be all right here. Like, granted, we know it's a horror movie, we know, but maybe the camp isn't all bad. Yeah, that changes. That changes real fast. And I actually, one thing I really liked about that was both elements or subgenres, as I'll use, of this, which is slasher and psychological horror, were really well done. Really well written, really well shot. The movie's beautiful, the way it's shot, but they shouldn't be together. I think is my biggest issue. So like you have these teens who are all together, and the main de facto leader of the group, Jordan, played by Theo Germain, they are targeted by the camp leaders and such because they just aren't being accepted. Like there's a lot of pushback, and they know that they don't want to be there. They let the counselors know, like, they don't want to be there. So off of the bat, it creates that tension. And because they are so outspoken, the rest of the campers kind of rally behind them. So it turns out really well. Jordan is a really good character. I really enjoyed it, and the portrayal there. But it just didn't. Here's where it didn't mesh well, is because you start out with this slasher element. A masked killer is going out, kills somebody in the first few minutes, and then disappears for about an hour. you don't see another, killer from kill from the killer for about an hour. You get this psychological horror where it's slowly progressing, especially in with how the counselors, Owen especially, are treating Jordan, because all of the other campers are like attached to Jordan, and uh you know their presence and just kind of the personality that they brought to it. So it watching this movie and seeing the psychological side of it was really well done, and you're so like enthralled in it, because it's like, where is this going to go? By every passing scene that Kevin Bacon's in, he becomes more sinister. And then every other counselor, Carrie Preston is in the movie, plays Kevin Bacon's wife. She was in True Blood and a million other things. She's a fantastic actress. She plays the therapist side of it, where they meet with, she meets with everyone, all the campers and such. And she's so vile, and it's so rough, when you're watching her, how she talks to Jordan, and the way it makes her feel, and uh, that they aren't breaking. Like, Jordan knows, like, they can't break. So it was a really good psychological side to it. I was like, this is really intense. It's getting crazier by each passing, and you never know, because Owen versus Jordan, it just kind of keeps going back and forth, back and forth. And it's building to something, but there were things there that just kind of like feel like you glossed over it. Like, you're catching more in exposition than you are in actually seeing it kind of conveyed, and that took away from it, because I was like, and I know why they did that, because they wanted to finish with the slasher side of things. And I wish they didn't do that, because it's an hour and 44 minutes. And like I said, you get one kill in the beginning, and then the next kill isn't for like an hour later. So you have this whole psychological horror, and not drama. It's horror going on. And then, but you also get a lot from the other characters, the other campers, and learning their stories and who they are, what's motivating them. They did a great job with the characters, building them up. Every character you care about and what they're doing there, except the killer. And that takes you away from it. And the cliches really came in with the killer. And there were things that were touched down upon on the psychological side, like when Jordan finds the pictures of past counselors, and after having been abused or tortured in some way. And they never really touched down on it again. You do see that, but like, you realize, like, okay, they've tortured kids in the past. There's a whole mess of kids in this past. It's horrifying that they have tortured. And then, but you don't get a torture scene until about an hour in either, and it comes like right before the next kill. It was either right before or right after the next kill, and you're like, what? Why wouldn't you start this early? Like, you're building up to it. Why wouldn't you, like, I don't know, weave in more to it? And I just feel like that was kind of left out, and for the sake of trying to make this a slasher movie. And then when you finally get to the slasher part, you're like, all right, I don't like this, because now it's because the slasher part is against the counselors. So you never feel like, even from early on, that the kids are in any danger. It's just the counselors. The only time you feel like the kids are in danger and when the counselor's around. So if they're getting picked off, you're like, all right, so they'll be fine, and it'll be okay. So that's where the horror just kind of threw me off. So you were telling the story, and I really wish they had stuck to one subgenre rather than both, because when the slasher element comes in, the costume is cool. The kills are cool. That whole storyline, the way it's filmed, everything is kind of cool about it. But I shouldn't say storyline, but the whole cinematography of it, is very cool. And it could have made a cool slasher film on its own had you not had the psychological side to it. Just like, why are these counselors getting picked off one by one? And then maybe the campers have to figure this out. or just stick with the psychological horror, where you have all of these campers being tortured and brought down by these sadistic, trying to be trustworthy uh, counselors. So I know I'm going on and on about it. It just really bugged me because I was like, man, these could have been two really good movies if they were separated. And also because the slasher ends up being a cliche, and that's where, earlier when I talked about earlier movies and things like that and how they portray the community, the killer is a cliche in a lot of ways. And being that it was a former, and this is the only spoiler you're getting. I'm not gonna tell you who it was or anything like that, but it was a former camper who went through this program, who it just demolished that person, justifiably so, but and is now back to take their revenge and wants help and is trying to incorporate Jordan especially into what they're trying to do. So as I'm watching this, I'm like, yeah, but I mean, I think a lot of the problems that I hear from members of the community is that making members of the community the killer because they're crazed, and portraying them that way isn't good representation. And then that's what it was. But I understand why they're crazed, because they went through this camp and that's what you're trying to stop. That's their motivation, is trying to end these camps. It just, I think if you had focused the story more on that and wrote that and fleshed it out better than just exposition at the end, that kind of comes out with, in the dialogue, it would have been better. It would have been more understandable. It would have been more relatable. We would have gotten it. But the fact that it's kind of shoehorned in there, and comes out and you find out what's going on, it just didn't work, in my opinion. I did again, all the characters in it I really did enjoy. For the most part, they did a great job, fantastic acting in it and such. It just, and it was really invested in these characters and who they were, what they were. Um, Especially Jordan. Jordan did a really Theo Germain did a really good job as Jordan. I really liked them in the role. But everybody really did they had a good screen time, good timing for it and everything. So I really liked that. My rating for this movie, of course, because I'm a big Kevin Bacon fan, I went with Kevin Bacon's, is 2.5 out of 5. So of course I got my 3 Kevin Bacons there, but 2.5 out of 5. It's very middle of the road for me because the stories just really divided it up and took away from each other rather than kind of brought it back. If it had all kind of culminated and brought it back in the end, I would have liked it, but it just took too much away from each other because I was invested in this for an hour and then you come back with this and it's like, well, I'm not getting any resolution on what I've just witnessed for most of this time. That's what took it off. Maybe a 3. I could give it a 3, especially for the cinematography, really well done, and the acting. But yeah, it's one that if you're a horror fan, maybe check out, see what you think, and go for it. But if you're not too much of a horror fan, or you're just not, and you're not into that, it might not be a bit of a miss. So you might not have to check it out. But that's my rating for it. I would love to hear what you guys think. If you guys check it out, let me know in the comments. I kind of rambled on for a while with this, but it was an intriguing notion, and I wish it had done better for me rather than where it was at. So thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate you. We are going to be talking about this over on the Discord. So if you want to join up on the Snobs Nation Discord, links are down below. If you do have interest in Skillshare, please, affiliate link is down below. Go check them out. Let them know what you think. We also have Patreon open with 3 tiers available. If you guys are interested in supporting the Scene Snobs, head over there, check out our tiers. We have plenty of stuff, perks and stuff like that go with it. So I am Mick Manhattan, the Scene Snob. I'm one of the hosts of the Scene Snobs Podcast, which is live every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. You can check that out, or it's available on all podcast platforms afterwards. Or Saturdays, we are on Real Wise Radio at 12 p.m. Eastern, or Helium Radio on Sundays at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Go check those out. So we have our show available to you. We have other shows on our YouTube channel, so make sure to hit like to this. Head over to the subscribe button, hit that if you like our videos and more, because we have tons of stuff coming out. And we truly appreciate you. We thank you for watching, and we will talk to you very soon. Take care. Thanks for watching and listening, everybody. I'm the Scene Snob, Mick Manhattan. You can check out the Scene Snobs Podcast live every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel, or all podcast platforms afterwards. Also on our YouTube channel, you can check out great shows like Real Combat, the ultimate debate show for movie lovers, mixed movie picks with new recommendations every week, Geek Fest Live every Sunday night, and new movie reviews and news all the time. Like and subscribe, then hit the notification bell so you know when all of our new episodes drop. Thank you so much to all of our amazing Patreon supporters, with whom this would not be possible. They help keep the lights on and support us in such big ways. If you would like to become a supporter on our Patreon and take advantage of all the perks like monthly giveaways, early access, and so much more, head on over to the Scene Snobs Patreon page and just sign up on one of our 2 tiers. Join our awesome community of geeks, movie lovers, and so much more, and join up on our Discord. The Scene Snobs Discord is now live, and you can head over to thescenesnobs.com for links to there and more. The Scene Snobs merch store is now open with original and fun designs that are available on all different types of merch and apparel. Check out thescenesnobsmerch.com. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to all of our social media accounts like TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and so many more. We have fun updates, topics, we talk about collectibles, and so much more on there. It's a great time. You can find all of our links to everything on thescenesnobs.com or on our link tree, which are down in the descriptions below. Thanks again, everyone. Stay tuned and stay geeky.